I think we're live. We're going to find out. We're 11 minutes late, but that's okay. It's 11:11. That's good luck. Skybox NASCAR. What's popping? Apparently, with YouTube, not only do you have to create the channel 24 hours in advance, but you also have to request to go live. And so we got to wait 24 hours. But Dave, NASCAR Prophecy, has saved the day. And I think we're live. If we're not live, we'll post the video and the audio once we wrap up. But what's popping, boys? We got a double header today. Weepers, whatever the hell those things are. We got 6 hours to dry the track. So I would imagine that any water that's seeping through the cracks is probably going to get figured out, if I had to imagine. We got cold weather. We haven't had a race in Auto Club in Southern California with cold weather in a long time, so I guess we can start there. Dave, what do you think about the Weepers? Do you think they're going to be an issue today? What do you think about the cold weather, the no practice? Do you think we can use the setups from last year? Kind of walk me through your thought process there.
Well, I think that the weather, it's going to be 30 degrees cooler than it was last year when they were there. That's definitely going to be an issue. No practice is going to be an issue. My main concern is tires, actually, with the track being really green. I just hope for no failures. I hope we worked through all that last year, but it's to be seen. The Weepers, it hasn't rained in, 12 hours there, like you said. So I think that was a little bit of relief. If it was only like 3 hours until race time, I'd be a little more concerned. So I think we'll be okay with Weepers, but I really don't know. I'm not there. I don't, But
what is a weeper? Can you explain that?
Weepers when I guess the pressure underneath is pushing up on the track and then comes through the cracks. It's basically, I guess, when the water is above the sea level. So it's trying to push through the track. So instead of it water staying underneath the track, it's trying to push up through the cracks or whatever.
Yeah, no, I'm sitting over here laughing at Rory because he's got strobe lights going on. And it looks like he moved to Mexico, so that's dope. Maybe we'll take a little dip in your pool later. But Roy's dealing with the same thing I'm dealing with. We got light coming in. First time we recorded during the day. So, Rory, what's popping, dude?
Oh, not much. Just having a beautiful morning, Fired the smoker up, threw a butt on, got ribs out there, baby backs. Little brisket on, and we got some wings I'm gonna throw on here in a little while. We're celebrating my oldest's birthday. His birthday was yesterday, but we're doing it today. So here we are, ready to throw out some picks, and hopefully we don't see any weeping.
Yeah. So the main point for me for this show, for Sunday late morning, early afternoon was, I'm down in Florida. A lot of the local books and some of the offshores don't put up their good matchups until Sunday. Like for the example, this weekend, I didn't get Xfinity matchups till about 4 o'clock yesterday, and I didn't get Cup matchups till to wait, so I could come on here and we could all come on here and discuss our last minute bets, give an explanation, kind of like we do on Wednesday night show, kind of like how we do on our podcast, the Layin Coin Podcast. So I figured this is a good way to explain our bets that are not just a card. So I'll start. We're going to talk Xfinity too because we got double headers today. Why not? I mean, we're glued to the couch from 3:30 Eastern until about 11 o'clock Eastern, and I could not be more excited about it.
I was kind of hoping they would push up the start time of the Cup race. That was disappointing.
Without pre-practice qualifying. A couple days ago, and it was Kyle Busch.
I would have liked for him to have ran the Xfinity race at 10 o'clock their time this morning, and then that way we would have got some rubber laid down, gotten a feel for what's going on out there, and then let them run. But they're it's normally ass backwards, or they
why do we
gotta
think
fit
they're
the
doing
TV or whatever. TV
Why do we think we're
schedule
doing
and
it after the Cup race and not before? Because I feel like in Daytona in the summer race, when the Xfinity Series was rained out the night before, they would always run it in the morning. So I didn't really understand that.
I think they really want to make sure they get the Cup race in. With rain coming, they want that Cup race in.
Yeah,
they don't want
numbers.
to risk. Yeah, they don't want to risk not.
This is how they've most of the time done it. I've done it at Rockingham before, and the Busch race got rained out on Saturday, and they ran the Busch race after the damn Cup race was over with, because I remember staying. It was back when I was a kid.
Yeah. To NASCAR in the last 3 or 4 years, I don't think there's been one run after the Cup race, but hey, I ain't got shit going on. All right. Well,
they also don't want to alter the schedule either. Like, they know people are going to tune in at 2:30 for the Cup race. A lot of people don't care about the Xfinity race. They don't care if it doesn't even race. So they just want to make sure that's the bread and butter.
Yeah, I guess they can do a little marketing for it during the Cup broadcast. Maybe they'll get a few more eyes on it afterwards.
Yeah,
so.
More people will be more likely to stay.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, I put out my part 1 of the card before practice and qualifying, even though we knew that there was probably not going to be practice and qualifying. But let's talk outrights real quick. Kyle Busch, 11-1. I think Kyle Busch, I think the 8 car is going to be fast. I think that, yes, while Tyler Reddick last year dominated the first 2 stages, I think he is obviously a guy that runs the wall, but I also think there's a very large part of this team, this car, this horsepower. I think that I don't know how to say it. I think that matters a lot more to me at Auto Club than it does the driver. But when you flip-flop Kyle Busch and Tyler Reddick, who are you going to take? You're going to take Kyle Busch all day. And if you want to argue that, fine, we can argue that. But Kyle Busch, I expect very big things out of him this year. We saw this exact same car dominate last year, the first 2 stages, until William Byron decided to do a little hit-and-run side swipe on our boy Reddick. Had him outright, of course. And I just thought that was a good number. I thought 11-1 was a decent number. I probably would have liked it to be 14 to 15-1. I think if Kyle Busch was in a Toyota, he probably would be 14 or 15-1. But what are y'all's thoughts on Kyle Busch, the 8 car? Any other outrights that you like? I guess, what do you think about the difference or how do you bet how do you bet Tyler Reddick going in the 45 and Kyle Busch in the 8? How do you dissect that?
Well, personally, with Tyler Reddick, I like Tyler Reddick here, but he's starting dead last. So that right there, track position is going to be so huge. So I would honestly, coming in, I love Kyle Busch. I hate that he's got to start, 16th? I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, look at Eric Jones last year and Austin Dillon. They qualified up front. Well, I think Austin Dillon was like 16th and finished 3rd. But Eric Jones qualified 2nd, I believe, and was able to stay up front all day. With the new car, it just seems like passing so much more difficult. And for Tyler Reddick, I don't know if he can make up all that ground, especially on a green track. The first stage, I think people are going to be very careful, trying not to destroy their car, trying to get a feel for it. He can capitalize on that, but he's got to strike fast. He's got to be aggressive. And that could end bad if he's running the fence. He could wreck out early. So he's going to take the push-it approach, and I think that might bite him in the foot. Now, Kyle Busch, I think he's going to have the best car today. I loaded up on top 3. I really think I want a quick double up this week to try to get ahead. I had bad 2 weeks. Daytona's so tough. But this is another track, the way things have played out this weekend, that's in the book's favor. You don't get practice, you don't get qualified. So now it's just 3 weeks in a row of unknowns. So you're kind of throwing a hot dog down the hallway and hoping for the best, you really don't know who's got the best car. Is Kyle Larson going to be the fastest? That's what everybody thinks, but you really don't know with a green racetrack.
So,
and with failures.
I was going to ask you this question. So, no practice and qualifying, advantage to the books. The 30-degree difference in air temperature. So, let's say that it was 75 at the start of this race. Would you be able to rely on the guys that were fast last year bringing a similar setup to this year and saying, okay, these guys are probably going to be fast, considering we don't have practice? And then how do you account for the 30-degree difference?
Well, I do think they would offload with the same exact setup. I mean, granted, you got to remember when they first went to this track last year, it was a new car. So who was fast last year this time? If this race was the same as Talladega at the beginning of the chase, you probably would have had different people up front because a lot of people learn these cars throughout the year. And you saw people progress, like 2311. I mean, Bubba Wallace could win this race today. You don't know because, what they did late in the season with Kansas and Kentucky, they all figured it. It was a work in progress. Obviously, the 8 team offloaded good last year this time. But going back to the track conditions that's a huge setup difference. 30 degrees is huge. And not to mention, if you're going to be more aggressive, you might have more tire failures. And I think that's what I'm more conservative than anything, because a lot of these guys are going to start off being conservative because they came this weekend knowing what they're walking into, I would hope. I mean, I don't want to say I'm losing faith, but, you got to come to this track knowing what to expect. And if you didn't look at the weather and know that this was going to be a complete washout last week when you were setting these cars up, then you're kidding yourself. So it wasn't a secret. Maybe the snow was, but everything else wasn't.
I mean, they had to have looked ahead and seen that it was going to be 40s, 50s, Hell, they knew it was a whole lot cooler coming in. And probably they were probably anticipating, we're not going to have P&Q neither. So we're just going straight race setup and hope from there we hit it and everything works out. So it is a lot of questions going into this. I think I'm going to live bet it. I've taken Bowman at plus 2,200. I thought that was pretty good value for a guy starting fourth that's really, really good here. I mean, hell, I don't think that number is going to grow unless something drastically happens mid-race or something and he goes to the back. So I jumped on that, but I do want to see what the hell's going on and if tires are holding up and whatnot. I mean, we may see blown tires straight out the gate with this green ash track. I mean, it might, but I mean, they got a competition caution at 20 laps in or some shit, I think.
Well, another thing too, like you said with live betting it. So like Kyle Busch's odds, he's at 9-1 right now.
Yep.
If you wait to live bet him, he's not going to dip any lower than 7-1, unless he's just straight up dominates the first stage. So wait. I mean, it's good business. I mean, like, why would you shoot in the dark and buy? I'm saying as a favorite, like Cole Custer at 4-1 in the Xfinity race. Why would you jump in at 4-1? Why wouldn't you take a wait and see approach? He's not going to dip any lower than 2-1. So you're only going to go up in value at any point in that situation. But if you want somebody like an Alex Bowman at 22-1, that's only going to get worse unless he pulls a tire out.
Sure. I got Bowman. I seen a stage 1 matchup I like. Bowman minus 110 over Chastain.
Yes,
I mean, I think Bowman's going to contend for the stage 1 win. Personally.
So let's talk stage 1 winner.
Something tells me that dude's going to show up today. They're going to nail it, and the car is going to be good.
So I have this like fixation on Joey Logano this week. His track record at Auto Club is pretty magnificent, actually. 5 of the last 6 races, he's finished in the top 5. Feel like he always starts off the season hot. Vegas coming up. That's a Pennzoil deal. Well, let's talk stage 1 winner. So Joey Logano starting second or third, and then he's at 8-1 to win first stage. And conservative Joey Logano, 2 things mixed like oil and water. So I think that Joey Logano is going to win stage 1, 8-1. That's on Barstool, I believe. And then Christopher Bell, who's starting from the pole, is also 8-1. And I feel like Christopher Bell has not got a lot of love this week because we didn't have practice and qualifying and because we were going off previous data. Christopher Bell's previous data is not that bad. On the 4 comp tracks, we have Homestead, Auto Club, and both Darlingtons, just high tire wear tracks. That's what I use. He's like 8th, or he is 8th in total speed ranking on those 4 tracks, even including him wrecking at Auto Club and finishing 36th last year. So I'm high on Christopher Bell. I'm not crazy about him outright, but I was a little shocked to see him 8-1 starting from the pole to win stage 1. So What do you think about Christopher Bell or maybe any other stage 1 bets?
I do like Christopher Bell. I mean, you can't ignore him, especially with the track position and the way he ended last season. I mean, I just wish Miami was a little faster.
Christopher Bell?
Well, yeah.
Was in the
I don't know, dude. My
you
internet
glitched.
fuck you over here.
You glitched.
Yeah, I'm sure I did.
Yeah, no, I think Christopher Bell is probably going to be the best Gibbs driver today. I mean, I think Truex is going to be good too. I think he's one I'm going to keep an eye on live is Truex. I want to see how he looks because I don't know. He had some really good stats later in the year last year on mile intermediates and mile and a halves, 2 miles, things of that nature. I mean, if it wasn't for bad luck, I mean, Martin Truex really should have probably won 1 or 2 of those mile and a halves last year. He was pretty damn fast everywhere, and he's also a guy that really does well on high tire wear tracks. So he's going to take care of his tires, and he'll be able to manage them all the way through a run. And I think grabbing him live is, I think he will see how the tires are holding up first before he goes gonzo out there and tries to blow a tire in the first run of the race or something like that. So I can see him managing, figuring it out, and if that car is going to come to life towards the end of stage 2. You might want to look at him as a stage 2 winner, whatever his odds are. I'm sure you might be able to grab a pretty decent price on that.
Yeah, the thing with Martin Truex for me is if you look at Ryan from My Fantasy Race, his asterisk report, the last 3 Auto Club races, Martin Truex has had an asterisk by his name, and he's been fast. He drove from the back to the front, got spun by Ricky. He was in second when he had a bad pit stop. Ryan calls it the hand heart attacks. The just pit crew guy changing a tire is bad. I can't remember the other one, but the 4th race, if you go back 4 races, he won the race by 11 seconds. So I do like Martin Truex. I got him at 12-1, but might be another guy that is willing or is worth waiting and taking runs in the first stage. Dave, you're not historically an outright heavy guy. You're more of a top 3, top 5, maybe even some top 10 guys. If you had to pick 1 or 2 guys, I know you mentioned Kyle Busch, double up your money on a top 3. If you had to pick 1 or 2 guys for the placement, top 3, top 5, top 10, where are we going?
I like Briscoe at 40-1 was really interesting to me as an outright. I don't think that he should be 20-1 less than Kevin Harvick. I think that's unfair to him. I think they're pretty comparable to, Harvick's 20-1, he's 40-1. That makes no sense. So I saw him at top 10 for plus 170 for Briscoe. I think that's a great bet. I mean, if you can get a quick double up, just hope he stays clean all day and doesn't have any failures. And Austin Cindric, I mean, I think he's going to come around the corner this year. He's 80-1.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah,
it's the same car Joey Logano has. Is he really that bad? No, he's not. And he got a year under his belt. So 80-1 is criminal for him. And a top 10 for plus 275. He could praise.
I'm on that.
Yeah, I mean, those 2 jumped off the page at me as like just disrespect. You have practice and Briscoe's in the top 10. That number's cut in half.
Yep.
So, I mean, you just got to think about it. Did Stewart-Haas get better over the winter? You would hope so. I mean, 40-1's criminal for him. And then I saw the one matchup I liked. I know you guys like to do matchups, so I figured I'd get one. Bubba Wallace over Suarez for negative 114. I don't like the negative, but Bubba on intermediate tracks was really good last year, and Suarez struggled. I think that's a no-brainer as well. These are all like low-line fruit for me. So I'm just looking for little grabs to make some money. I'm trying to make a profit this weekend. So next week I'm free rolling and then have a little more fun with some outrights.
All right. Well, let's talk matchups, Rory. This is the main reason why I wanted to do this whole thing on Sunday mornings because of these matchups, like I mentioned earlier. These offshores, and I haven't compared them to the domestic books, DraftKings, Barstool, Caesars, but I do know that they're on the local books. Joey Logano minus 125 versus Tyler Reddick. And we talked a little bit earlier about Tyler Reddick. He's starting deep in the field. Logano starting second. I know it's a long race. A lot can happen. Funky cautions, wrecks, you name it. It can happen. We know that going into every week. Every week that we bet on NASCAR, we know that can happen. But you just have to assume that everything's going to go according to plan. So Joey Logano at minus 125 is going to be a 3-unit play for me against Tyler Reddick. I just, like Dave said, the 2311 got a lot better on speedways last year. Bubba Wallace can easily go out and win on a 1.5 mile, a 2-mile track. He won last year. I think it was Kansas or Vegas, whatever. I think it was Kansas he won. But I 2311 and the 45 car are going to have to prove it to me before I bet on him. And I'm so high on Joey Logano this week that this bet was a no-brainer. I thought about doing it a max play, but ultimately decided we'll settle for a 3U because we didn't have practice qualifying and we don't really know what's going to come out of that 2311 stable. So what do y'all think about that matchup?
I think they're cutting the track right now.
Huh?
Did you hear about that? They're cutting the track. Yeah,
I don't know what that means.
Well,
somebody seen it.
Yeah.
Well, that just tells you a little relief because they're going to tear the track down next year, so they're giving it some room to breathe.
Huh?
Yeah. But I do like that bet with Logano because I think Logano's going to race more of a conservative race, just try to get through the weekend in one piece. And I think Tyler Reddick's got a lot to prove, and I think he's going to be up on that wall quick. And I think that could be bad. That could end his day early. One misstep, and there goes a toe link, Yeah,
I like Logano in that matchup as well.
I appreciate that, Rory. Another matchup that I'm purely going off of, I'm going to call it an equipment disadvantage, an equipment difference. Eric Almirola minus 120 against Noah Gragson. And if anybody has listened to anything that I talk about or tweet, I love Noah Gragson. I just don't love Legacy Motor Club. I don't know what kind of program they're going to have. Yes, Eric Jones he started at the front last year and he maintained it. I think he finished third. Eric Jones won Darlington last year, but then Eric Jones also had races where he was 25th and he couldn't even snip the top 20. And then you got Ty Dillon in the 42 car that was complete ass all year long. And now Noah Gragson's a rookie in the Cup Series, and he's taking over what that 42 did last year. I just think, and then if you look at Eric Almirola, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I know for a fact last year that he was in like the top 12 in comp track. The high top track will roll over Noah Gragson. Even though Gragsy boy, I love you. You're still my buddy. You're still my guy. This is a business decision. What do y'all think about Eric Almirola over Noah Gragson?
I like Eric over Noah.
Yeah.
The one thing that makes me have problems for Legacy Motor Club is I heard Richard Petty is very upset with his role now. He's kind of taking the back seat. So I think that's a huge step forward for them. I mean, I hate to say it, but he's out of touch. And Jimmy Johnson's in the know and knows people that are in the know. And I think that team's going to grow. I really do. And I think Noah's going to have a learning curve, but Eric Jones, I think I wouldn't take Eric Jones against Eric Almirola. But yes, I do agree. I think Noah's going to have a learning curve to start the season. But I don't take it as an equipment. I take it as a learning curve. Rookie versus a guy that's got a full career under his belt. Knows where to be, knows what to do, and knows, still going to make mistakes. So I think equipment's pretty close. I don't think Stuart Haas stands out like they used to. Gotta watch what I say, but they're not one of the top tier teams anymore. I don't know what happened, but they're just not, unfortunately. And last year they had to resort to cheating to get in the playoffs, and then it blew up. But did they? Let's see. Can they turn it around?
We'll see. I mean, it's amazing how Harvick went from winning 8-9 races a couple years ago to not winning in 21, and then last year, going back to back, and
I'm
on the stance.
I finally found my Eric Amarillo.
All right, hold on.
been
Before you say that,
looking.
I gotta
I
say that
finally, yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna throw it to you, but I gotta say this.
Get it.
I firmly believe that every single team is cheating, and if you're not cheating, then you're not trying. It sounds cliche, but you've got to push the limits to find an edge when these cars are so close, right?
100%, absolutely. And if you're not cheating, you're doing your team a disservice. I am not throwing them under the bus at all. I'm just saying, you have to do these things to take a leg up, and that's what it takes to win in the sport. Cheaters always win. That's my motto. It's the truth. If you're not cheating, you ain't winning. That's how racing is won. You just got to be really good at it,
Yeah.
Great.
All right, Rory. Amarillo by morning.
Amarillo by morning and a little Amarola over Ricky Spinhouse minus 115.
Really?
Give me that.
Dude, I don't know what to think about Ricky.
What do you think? He's going to wreck.
Okay. But okay.
He could even be.
I don't actually think he's going to wreck. He's got they've downsized. They just won the 500. Yeah, you could argue the win hangover. I'm the biggest proponent of win hangovers, but they've got. I heard an interview with the owner, not Brad Doherty, but the other one on after the 500, and he's saying that they have sponsorship out the door. So okay, money is not the issue. Now we got to think about the people, right? Obviously, the people matter. Do they have enough people to support a winning one-car team? I don't know. Half of me thinks we're going to see exactly what we've seen for the last 4 or 5 years out of JTD Doherty Racing. And the other half of me is going, okay, maybe he is a top 20 car. Maybe he is a top 15, top 17 car. I don't know. I can't get my head around it.
Oh my God, I just found something. I'm glad I haven't taken something. I just happened to click on the top 10 on Austin Cindric on Bet365 is plus 500.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, bet it now.
Amarola is plus 400.
Those are top 10s?
Top 10s.
Not top 5s?
Now I'm getting ready to take those.
Yeah, you should probably do that.
Yeah. Brad Keselowski plus 300.
So that's another guy that I don't know about. Like, yes, he ran well last year, and he had an asterisk report, or he had an asterisk by his name, and he did run in the top 10. But we've also same thing with like Legacy Motor Club. We saw RFK be so bad at certain places, like so bad, and I'm just not gonna get caught with my pants on the ground betting on Brad Keselowski after some of the performances from last year.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see him first. I just was naming somebody I knew that ran well here last year. He had the spin at rack, little fender bender with I got it in the notes over here. I'm starting to take notes on races.
Oh shit! Yeah. Here we go.
Hell yeah, you know it.
Getting real.
You know it. Yeah, shit's getting real over here. I mean, I got the whole setup. We got everything now. We got new computer. So now I got all these fucking monitors and
You moved to Mexico.
I look like a fucking stock market executive or some shit over here. Just all kinds of stuff.
Oh my God. All right. Well, I got one final matchup for you guys, and then I'll let you guys throw in any final bets, and then we'll get to rolling here. Todd Gilliland versus Corey LaJoie, and this bet used to be it was FRM versus Spire Motorsports, and that's what the matchup has been. And it used to be Anthony Alfredo versus Justin Haley, and I would slam Alfredo every single time, and it was like an 80%. It was like 82% hit rate. It was absolutely absurd. Last year, the locals decided that they weren't going to put it back out they put it back out for like a couple races and races that it didn't even matter on. But now we got it back, and it's instead of the 77 car, the Spire car, it's the 7 car, Corey LaJoie. And we all know that the 77, or I guess maybe we don't all know, but I suspect that the 77 is going to be dog shit, just like it's been in previous years. I don't know about Corey. Yes, he shows up on super speedways, but Corey can, like last year at Darlington, I faded Corey LaJoie tremendously. I put a lot of money against Corey LaJoie, and he drove from like 25th to like 15th in the first stage, and I'm sitting there with my pants on the ground. But I'm not going to let this matchup go by the wayside. I am taking Todd Gilliland minus 130 for 2 units against Corey LaJoie because I'm putting my eggs in the basket. That front row is going to bring some momentum from last year. I know that it's basically, this is what it is. It's the worst front row against the best Spire all day long. Now, obviously, I would rather Howell, and I'd rather have Gilliland versus 70-cent Ty Dillon, but we're working with what we got. So that's my final matchup that I have. I don't think I'm going to add anything else just because I have a ton of props and outright stage 1 winner. I even have an exacta that I don't think we've talked about. I'll just throw this out there. Kyle Busch to finish first, Joey Logano to finish second at 75-1. Now, I know what you're saying. I know what you're thinking. The odds are shit. Well, the odds are shit. 75-1 is not great to finish the exact finishing position of 2 guys. But I was in Chicago earlier this week, legal betting. I had to throw some coin down on it. So what do you guys think about Gilliland versus LaJoie and maybe the anything else you got?
I don't know about that one.
No?
Who did you take, Gilliland?
Yeah, over LaJoie.
I think that's a good bet. LaJoie's been shit here, right? Pretty sure.
Well, on equipment standpoint, you're going to go Gillen all day. You know?
Yeah.
Driver-wise, they might be equivalent, but, this is the track where the equipment's going to rise. And what did McDowell do here last year? I mean, I know he had a really good year, a lot of top 10s, top 15s. I can't tell you how many times Corey LaJoie was in the top 15.
So McDowell finished 31st here last year, but he had an asterisk by his name. LaJoie finished 28th, and he does not have an asterisk. So
so there you go, right there.
Yeah, and Gilliland, Gilliland finished 20th. Yeah, so he doesn't have an asterisk either. So
there you go. There's your answer.
There's my answer. All right, boys. Y'all got anything else to throw out there?
Gilly.
You want to do a little bit of Xfinity?
Oh, yeah. Fuck. I forgot about Xfinity. What am I thinking over here? I'm trying to wrap up. I'm like, what the? Yes, I want to do Xfinity. All right. Well, I'll let
race cars.
I know. I can't believe that I just did that. It's my favorite series in the world. All right. Well, I'm gonna let you guys fire off Xfinity because I know Rory could talk for hours about it.
I got one that I love, and it's shot up, but John Hunter Nemechek minus 130 over Chastain.
Is it still being offered?
It's minus 160 now.
Ooh.
After
dead last.
After I hit it, I guess Aaron must have gave it out to the moonshot crowd, and then I guess they realized that they messed up once it hit the Discord over there.
Well, I think that once qualifying got rained out, that really would change because he's got to start dead last.
Starting position,
and he gets
definitely
a terrible pit
had
stall.
A lot.
His pit stall's terrible now. I mean, that's huge.
I mean, I'm just going off of what I think's going to happen now. That's not saying like all of a sudden Chastain. I mean, I don't doubt one bit if he happens to be in a good race car, then I can see Chastain getting up there. I'm just thinking until I see it on the track, I would definitely lean that John Hunter Nemechek's in better equipment than Chastain's in for today.
You can take that to the bank.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's talk about Ross for a second. The DGM, we've seen Ross run this car before. We've saw him run it at Indy Road Course and a few other places. Yes, he's going to have Chevy help. He's going to have Trackhouse help. I'm sure he is. But you've also got to think about what he's going. Now I'm back. You got to think about what he's going up against. He's going up against Joe Gibbs, and that is a recipe for disaster for Ross Chastain bettors. Minus 160. I don't love it, but there's some other guys that you can take against Chastain. Take Austin Dillon against Chastain. Take Brandon Jones against Chastain. I'd take those equipment over DGM as well. So, Dave, what do you got?
I did a couple outrights and top threes.
Yeah.
You know me, I stay away from this, especially when it's negative. I have no interest in laying it there. But John Hunter starting second at plus 750. I like him in some parlays with Kyle Busch. I love my parlays. So I try to play both races that way. Have some fun. You free roll into the second one. Maybe Kyle Busch strike early. Cole Custer at plus 400. I think you can get him live at plus 400 at any point. He's most likely going to have the best car considering there's no practice. They dominated there last year. The question is the skew going to mess them up? How much is the setup going to be different without the skew? I heard the car drives completely different. So does that hurt Custer? Possibly. John Hunter, I said earlier in the week, John Hunter is one of the few people in the field that has experience driving a skewless car. He drove a full season in the Cup Series 2 years ago and was pretty good here. So, and the one bet that I reluctantly say out loud is Riley Herbst's top three.
I got that too.
I added that after you said that. I added it
at plus 1,200. You can't. You know, I mean,
something I found interesting though. Riley finished the year out last year with 3 top 10s, didn't he? Pretty sure. And maybe he is going to turn into a little driver. I mean, it's got to be a little talent up underneath there to go along with the money, it seems.
Well, all he needs is a top 3.
That's true.
So at 1,200, at plus 1,200, Cole Custer's got the same exact car, and he's plus 400 to win. So, I mean, it just doesn't add up to me. I don't think Riley Herbst is that bad. I mean, I think he's still learning. He started racing at the top series, so he was on a big screen, and everybody saw it happen. But this is a huge year for him, especially if Custer starts going out there winning races, and he's in the same car. It was one thing when that was happening when he was at Gibbs, but he was a rookie then. But he finished second here at Gibbs. This is his best career finish. So why can't he finish in the top 3 again in what I think is a better car? I mean, I think Stewart-Haas has great Xfinity cars, and there's no reason why he can't win a couple races this year if he pulls it all together, especially with Custer working with him. I mean, he can win this race. I hate to say it because I've lost so many times riding with him, and what I mean. It's like I've said he's
probably going to happen again.
Before. Yeah, I probably will, but
please don't take this if you're going to watch it. Trust me on the torment on this guy. I'm like Dave. I've taken him before on some stuff, and it's almost like having Christian X in the truck series. It's like, oh God, this guy's going to catch this big ass top 3 or 5 I have on him, and then all of a sudden, no, he's not, because he just wrecked half the field.
But one of the parlays I did was Kyle Busch top 3 and Riley Herbst top 3.
Oh, I mean, juicy.
Those are fun, As Kyle Busch finishes top 3, now you're riding, Now the second race is going to be interesting, and I'll stay up till 11 o'clock at night.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, I added the Riley Herbst after we talked about it a few days ago. 12-1, top 3. Also, another guy that I've been going back and forth on this week is Sheldon Creed. Big number. I think one of my offshores, he's like 35-1, plus 300 for a top 5. And the reason he can wheel it, one of the fastest cars. He wasn't going to catch Gregson, but he could have cast our matchups 3 for sure. And then he hits the wall, and this seems to be a common theme with Sheldon Creed. Every time we bet on him, just like Riley Herbst, every time we bet on him, something happens. But the reason I'm going back and forth on Sheldon Creed is I feel like he's kind of the guy that hangs out in the right rear, and it's going to be cold. So are we going to be hanging out in the right rear? Is the top going to hold or going to be the primary lane, the priority lane? I heard Christopher Bell. No, actually, it was John Hunter yesterday during the rainout. He was saying that the bottom lane is going to probably hold its ground a little bit longer into the race, and then it'll move up to the top. So you think of Sheldon Creed, you think of him ripping the top, ripping the boards. So I took him outright for a unit at 35-1, and then took Sheldon Creed top 5 at 3-1. But what do you guys think about Sheldon Creed? Maybe you can throw Austin Hill in there, even though I'm anti-Austin Hill this week.
Well, going back to what you just said, is another thing is too about live betting. Watch and see who's the first one to go up top. Who's not afraid to go up there and put rubber down up there. That might be the person that wins the race in the third stage. Somebody might dominate the first or second stage riding the bottom like a John Hunter. But if he's not willing to go up top because he's comfortable on the bottom, whoever the first one that goes up top is most likely probably going to win this race, especially in Xfinity and possibly even the Cup Series. But the Xfinity is going to have the rubber. It's going to be a full race of people running the top. The Cup Series race is going to be the one where it's who's going to be willing to venture up there and who's going to be the first one to hit the fence.
Yeah, because it's going to happen. We know it's going to happen. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm taking Tyler Reddick on that one.
Yeah,
and nothing against Tyler Reddick, he's a great driver, but sometimes he's not afraid to just be right up on that fence.
Noah.
What about him?
Could see Noah getting into it.
Yeah, I think he's got the personality to go try it up there.
Yeah, I mean, I know Bell and Larson are going to run high, but you watch, they're not going to run high until later on. I feel like, unless that's just the only place they can go. And what I mean by going up there, I mean I'm talking like right up against the wall the whole way through the turn. I think they're going to run up to that top seam before it gets to the wall. I think they'll be up there for a lot of the race, but come into stage 2, going into stage 3, I think you're going to see a lot of guys move on up there.
Another thing too is the more
the rubber.
Just a bunch of.
No, I was wondering is, who's going to take a conservative approach, because the more I hear, the less I hear that people have the cars available. So some people are going to be like, listen, we can't go to the top this race. We can't afford to have a setback. So I think teams might take a conservative approach too on this race. They might already be talking right now, we can't afford to lose a car week 3, or if somebody wrecked out at Daytona.
Mm-hmm.
Like we already destroyed 1 car at Daytona. We can't afford to lose 2 more this weekend. So we need a nice conservative weekend.
Yeah.
It's
pretty
crazy.
But this is the new NASCAR.
Yeah, it's pretty concerning to see some of these tweets out there with things not going their way and whatever it is, whatever the main reason is, but to be just whatever the reason is, and to be concerned about it is an issue. And you see Stuart Haas guys being forward on Twitter about it, and then I wish we knew other teams that were in the same position. Maybe it will. I guess it depends on information comes out, but anyway.
Well, I think the best information you can have is seeing who destroyed their cars at Daytona and who didn't. Because, I mean, like, if you were already down 1 car, your back's against the wall. If you only have 3 rears sitting in your garage, and that car just got destroyed. So they're coming to this track with it, like Ryan Preece. Ryan Preece is coming to this track. He destroyed his race car last week. So maybe he's going to be a little more conservative because he knows he doesn't want to screw his team over. Or whoever. I mean, half the field wrecked last week. So are those guys now going to be not players today because they don't have enough cars? I mean, this is crazy. I've never, that's a different element that we've never seen before that is new. And it's taken a lot of time for people to adjust, just like myself. I might say things that are off color because I don't know. I've never seen like this. I've never seen anything like this in motorsports in my life. Whoever thought the Cup Series would be conservative with spending money? I just think it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
gotten a little bit concerning in my opinion. I mean,
extremely concerning.
This
is the upper echelons of motorsports, and they're worried about destroying race cars.
Yeah.
So you want to put on the best product. You want those guys to go out there and race like there's no tomorrow. Yeah. You want them to be out there not afraid to destroy a race car because they got 7 more in the garage. There's people that do that at short tracks with street stocks. It's insane to me. And it's not a reflection on the teams. It's the sport. I mean, people could take it personal that I feel a certain way towards it. It's not personal. It's just I see how NASCAR is going, and it's scary. It's scary.
Well, you've been saying this since we first had you on back in November after last season, talking about the supply chain stuff. They're going to have to send these cars back, or they're going to have to get all new rear ends, and the supply chain issues and getting them back and taking the work out of the hands of the teams and putting them into basically NASCAR or the teams being at the mercy of NASCAR and all these suppliers and when they're going to get their stuff. So I agree with you. I didn't really take it as personal either, but it is a major concern. And I guess part of me understands why they tried to do it and why they are doing it and why we went to this new car. Just make it more accessible, make the entry barrier lower to come into the sport, make it more profitable. Yeah, exactly.
Always about money.
It's all about money. And, I understand that. I feel like I understand that.
It is. It's all about the Benjamins. And now I feel like, do you think the drivers are getting paid more now? And just it's not being made public? You
hear a lot of gripes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just wondering if that's kind of a front thing where they keep it so private. We can't keep up with what they're getting. They're like the only professional sport that doesn't make a big announcement sometimes.
Well, the drivers aren't making more money. The employees aren't making more money. You don't hear of people getting, huge raises. So who's making the money? The owners and NASCAR. Yeah. It's just they're operating it like it's the NFL, and that's not a good product for the fans.
No.
In the NFL, every team's not the same, and neither in motorsports, every team should not be the same. Otherwise, you're gonna have the IROC series, and it's gonna fail.
Yeah,
it's fair.
I got a couple of other plays in Xfinity. This won't take long, but I'm on Sammy Smith outright 2,500. Got 0.2 units on that. And I'm on the Herps top 3 with Dave, and I have that one matchup, and it was something else. Josh Berry top 5 plus 110. I think Josh Berry is going to be there at the end of this race.
Well, I've been saying all week you got to find that JRM car that's going to be the fastest, and I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be Josh Berry for a multitude of reasons, but we don't know that for a fact.
I'm probably taking Josh Berry live if I like what I see out the gate. I don't think you're going to lose much. Might as well let him start 20th or wherever. It's like 18th. It's a little ways back in the field where he had that little fender bender at Daytona. So I figured, it ain't going to drop much more than plus 800, throughout. I mean, if I'm watching it like I should be able to beat them before it moves. So that's my way of thinking on Barry.
I like the Sammy Smith pick. I do. I agree with you on that one.
Sammy, I got so much on him to win. All he's got to do is win one race. So I'm just going to ride that futures bet I got.
Hey, let's Harrison Burton won here.
That's true. He did a couple years ago.
Well, pretty much that same team was in 2021. And so did Bowman, same one. I had that parlay.
Byron.
Wow, that was a big day. Holy shit!
So how do you play the bottom here at judging in DFS? Who are we rolling with down at the bottom? That's going to be probably a pretty popular pick. But who would you say would be the least popular down here at the bottom? You could go
starting position.
We got Eric Jones down here, Reddick, Byron, Briscoe, even Austin Dillon starting down there. Yeah, 28. Ryan Preece. I think you got some big positions gain possibilities.
Well, it's funny because we were just talking about being conservative. Who's going to be conservative? In DraftKings, that now I would take the approach and that on a good side where I would take somebody that's going to be more conservative, then that's going to ball it up. But you're going to also have somebody like Tyler Reddick that's going to be owned by 60% because he's starting dead last. Right. So if you want to, do you want to roll the dice and bet against the grain? If me personally, I'm going to go against Tyler Reddick here and hope that he does something stupid and doesn't lead any laps and maybe finishes 35th or worse, because now you got a leg up on everybody else. So you got to kind of take the approach of gambling in the reverse nature. opposed to betting who you think's going to be there. It's more betting against who you think's not going to be there.
Yeah, I'm not a big DFS guy, but I do have one lineup out, and that is Kyle Busch, 10.3, Austin Dillon starting 28th, 8.1, Justin Haley starting 29th, 5.9, and then I threw Logano in there because I'm so high on him this week, starting third, but he's at 9.7. Ryan Preece starting 27th. I want to jump on Ryan Preece while he's underpriced. I think he's going to be a lot better than Custer was last year in the 41. So while the books, the fantasy, whatever the hell this is called, are down on Ryan Preece, I want to capitalize on it. I could be dead wrong. We could all be dead wrong over here, but so he's starting 27th and he's at 6.7. And I'm talking about their price when I say that. And then Truex is starting 14th, and he's at 9.3, and I have $0 remaining. That is coming from the expert brain fantasy player right here, boys.
Going back to Ryan Preece real quick before we jump off. Ryan Preece very easily could have won the first two races. He had the fastest car at the Clash, and he had the fastest lap, and he was a great pusher. He could have won the Daytona 500 if he was just not caught up. I mean, I expect good things from Ryan Preece. And I think he's going to help Storehouse grow. As crazy as it sounds, I think he brings a lot to the table for that team.
Yeah.
So I'm a proponent of working on your own cars. Sign me up for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love Ryan Preece.
And he's got that fire, something Cole Custer doesn't have. I mean, I'm not
he got
saying
fired and then came back.
Yeah. But
all right.
Yeah.
Rory, you got anything else for the boys?
No, I think I'm done. I might be looking at I was trying to find a Priest matchup that I could get that I liked, and I really don't know if anything caught my eye. I'm going to go back and look at some books, but that's all we got. I just don't look at this as going into, I don't think it's worth going into this race not knowing a whole lot. Way different temperature than last year, and we got maybe a little bit of a supplier problem going on with race cars right now. I don't know how much I want to invest in this until I actually see them out there on the racetrack.
I agree.
Fair enough. Wait, before we go, Rory, you got to go give us a little dip in your pool.
Here we go. I'll see all y'all on the other side.
Oh, that shit looks so real for like 2 seconds, and then you just stop.
I thought he was going to disappear. That would have been great.
That would have been so good.
I think so good. We'll come up with something for that before long.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Maybe we'll make that into a TikTok. And then just disappearing.
Hell yeah!
All right, boys. I appreciate you guys. I know we had some technical difficulties. If you guys are still watching, we'll probably put this up on my YouTube channel, on Dave's YouTube channel, the Gamblers Pit Box. So you guys can go back and watch. We got one more.
Ryan Preece minus 115 over Spinhouse.
Oh, okay. All right.
They're not starting on the pole though. Great pit stall. I don't know.
Well, all right. So if you knew that Preece was let's say he was a 15th place car and Ricky was a 22nd place car, it is
the only thing that's bothering me.
Track position showed to be huge last year.
Yeah, the start.
And he's got the number one pit stall.
But still, it's Ricky Spinhouse.
Yeah, but he's gonna have clean air. I gotta disagree on
that.
It
ain't gonna be clean long once Bell, Logano, Bowman, and then we're gonna have to go back in the field a little ways.
Austin Dillon
might be running it
last year.
Oh, I like Austin Dillon this weekend.
All right, boys. That was a pleasure. Thank you guys for tuning in. Maybe I should look at the camera this time. Next week we'll be rocking and rolling, even though we're already rocking and rolling. But next week we're really going to be rocking and rolling. So, Dave, thank you. Rory, you're the man. Let's cash some tickets today, boys.
Let's fucking go. Let's go Shane Lowry, too. Back 4 shots.
3 back, 4
we're gonna
back.
We're going to cash golf and NASCAR today, baby. Kevin Harvick, that we will add him. We got to put a little plus plus 2,000 on him. Hometown Bakersfield, few miles away, and I'm going to Stuart Haas Tuesday too. So that'll be a good story if I hit Kevin Harvick outright.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. All right. Anything else?
Peace. Beer
See
dog.
you guys.
Later, guys.